There, welcome to the Sawblade 666 YouTube channel. I'm Daniel Sawblade.
And I am Cartoon Ryan.
Today we're going to talk about Will Eisner's New York, Life in the Big City, published by Norton Books.
And guys, this is one of those books that's not talked about much, and it should be. Alright, so let's take a crack at this New York, Life in the Big City by Will Eisner. And man, this is just such a gem.
Classic stuff.
It really is. So yeah, this was originally published in 1981. This version I have came out in 2006. My awesome wife Maddie got it for me a few years back. There's so much to go through with this book that I kind of just selected certain parts of it. They're just some of my favorites. I highly encourage you to get this because it's just great to study from.
Well, Eisner was a master at gestures and just capturing.
He really,
almost in a sense to me, like a human camera.
he really was. And you'll see that as we go throughout this because it's almost like a snapshot. It literally looks like if someone got a camera and just snapped it at people are just living their lives. And just to start out with, this story right here, it's just little stories, it's little collections of just inanimate objects that make part of a city, like these vents and the sidewalks. And he called it the treasure of Avenue C.
I'm noticing that his perspective for it to be, and I'm assuming this isn't a sketchbook, right? These are sketches.
Assuming,
he did these on site, I think.
Oh, I'm sure.
So it's almost like a sketch journal in a way, from what I gather.
Well, it gets a little
because
more detailed.
For as accurate as this perspective, you see, it's a little off here, but the whole feel of it, his. What I'm getting at, his observational skills are really off the charts.
I agree completely. Because
that right for just observing on the street is masterful.
Yeah, and not to repeat myself, it really does look like you're just a fly on the wall in New York. It's amazing, especially during that time period. You'll see how dated this is, but it's really cool. So this is like the treasure of Avenue C, and you see these little vents over the sidewalk.
Dated just because we had to cut that part, or we had to restart the video. You mean that this is apparently New York in the 70s?
Yeah, late 70s, early 80s.
Right.
So around that time, and they were coming off of like a big. The crime was horrendous in New York in the 70s.
Yeah, if you look at old photos, it's
the
insane.
80s. It was just
looks like a bomb hit it.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It wasn't until about the 90s when they really turned things around over there, and it's nowhere near. No matter how bad you hear the news that New York's out of control, it's nothing close to what was going on back then. But this is really cool. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but this chick's like, with this guy, and he's basically begging her to marry him. She doesn't want to live a boring life with this guy. Takes the ring out of her purse, and it falls through the slot. And what I love about Will Eisner, and I'll say it always, is not only is he a good storyteller and he captures expressions really well and gestures and all that, it's the unique style this guy had. It was simple, but then yet it wasn't, and you see characters that look kind of cartoony. It's just a hallmark of this guy's work, and it's just minimal at times. Like this is really cool. So he's focusing on the vent, the money. He has different titles for each one, but they're standing over this vent as they walk by, dropping money. This guy drops a knife. He's running from. He's running from the cops. Yeah. Look at the cop outfits. How outdated that was. I can't believe the cops were still dressing in those jackets that covered up everything.
Waistcoat thing.
Yeah. So they lost sight of him. The knife goes down the vent. Look at this. This is beautiful. Look at that.
I
These
love
kids are just looking down. Look at all this.
Yeah, I love the application of. I'm assuming this is ink wash. It
Yeah.
really looks like a light ink wash. Great gesture again with the gestures.
I'm going to zoom in just a tad because I think I can get in here more on this. Yeah, look at this.
Yeah,
That's about, yeah. So, I mean, look at all this going on in the background.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these people living their lives at once in New York. And I mean, it wasn't even the size it is now, and it was massive back then. But this is so cool. It's just these kids. This is kind of stuff, I was doing when I was that age. Just going in sewer vents and looking for things to dig into. So it's really cool. They're looking at the treasures,
it's almost like a Norman Rockwell-ish thing, but
Yes.
more of an urban slant to it.
I agree completely. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Yeah.
It's kind of that. It's like the Americana, or just a snapshot of American life at that point. It's like after Rockwell, it's more urbanized. But look, this key falls down the slot, and then these kids are, fishing. They're fishing for things they see.
Right.
I mean, it's just great storytelling. It's so minimally done, and then they fight over it, and then when the final shot is all the
stuff
the
that
knife,
falls.
the ring, the key,
Yeah.
the money. It's so
amazing.
cool. It's just, I mean, this
amazing.
guy. Here's another one I like a lot. The Stoops. It's
Oh my
just,
God,
I know.
this-
Look at that.
What an incredible draftsman.
I know.
Just incredible.
Yeah, those row houses in Manhattan, in New York and Queens and the Bronx and all that. These old buildings, they were already old back then. And this is so, what's amazing is he took different parts of buildings and roads and turned it into stories of everyday New Yorkers just by observing everybody walking around. Look at that, witnesses,
Yeah.
and it's like there's a crime going on, mugging. Got people on the stairs kind of just watching, not doing much of anything. People strung out on drugs. And what I love about Will Eisner is, besides the cartooniness, but the realism at the same time, you get so many great values, and look at the black, solid blacks.
To graduating to
Yeah.
like a wash for the background.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's like all kinds, and then you got a little bit of line, the hatching, the single lines. You got a little bit of a wash going throughout the pages. It's just so well done. Look at that supper time, and then you got people on the stairs. Just, I meok at. You can see each crack in the steps. You see little pieces of debris.
Yeah, it's like really detailed but loose at the same time.
It really is. Yeah. And then as we get further on into it, you'll see stuff that's like super detailed, and then you'll see stuff that's just very minimally done. It's fantastic.
Because a
work.
lot of times it's either one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really a mix of both, and he really is. But he does it well.
And he does it. He really does it well. And like, look at the bricks. So like this side, you have lots of bricks, and then as you go on, it kind of loosens up, and there's big blank spots. See that?
Yeah.
It's so neat, man. It's just, I mean, a lot of white space.
Yeah, he gives you enough information where your eye just finishes it naturally,
And the other thing that's really great about this is, like I said, the storytelling, but you really feel like you're like a floating camera just following these people and just a little glimpse of their lives living in New York. And
Right.
It's really cool to see the different aspects of it. But his whole focus on this one is the steps for each of these buildings.
It looks as though it came to him really natural.
Yep.
This is a challenge for me as an artist because I have to really force myself to get certain things that are correct with being accurate about how these steps look, how these people are placed. Just everything about this is just there's such a natural fluidity to it.
It just feels like real life.
It's real fluid.
It's fluid, and it really does feel like real
It's
life.
not forced though at all. It seems
No.
like it came really natural to him to draw this. That's what's so amazing to me.
Yeah,
You know,
and you can tell. I mean, look at this stuff.
I love, man. I just love how he
that's really
moves his
badass.
figures. His figure work is so good.
It really is like you just like I'll keep saying it. It really is like if you just snapped the camera really fast, and just took a glimpse. Look at that.
But what we're saying, though, just to be clear, we're not saying photographic in the sense of photographic realism.
Yeah.
It's just it's done in a way where it gives you a feeling of wow, that's what he was looking at that time.
Yes, big
but
time.
translated in his style.
Yeah.
So
I'll just go through this really
oh, that's
quick.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'll go through this really quick and just get to the. So he did one on the subways, which is really cool. But I mean, look at this stuff.
That's beautiful.
I mean, gosh,
I love that.
Unbelievable what this guy could do.
When did he pass away?
I believe you think I would know this. It has to be the early 2000s, I would think.
I think you're right because his start is early.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking almost comics beginning.
He's not much young. If he's younger than Carl Barks was, then yeah, he started really early. Because Carl Barks was, I think, he was like he was 90 something, and he died in 2000. And they come from that same era of work. But yeah, look at that.
Look at that
Yeah,
woman's face.
yeah.
right
Look
there.
how
That's
fuzzy.
so good.
Look how fuzzy that is in the background. And then this is super bold and tight. I mean, these panels are so dynamic, especially for back then. No one was really doing stuff like this,
No.
Like his splash pages for the Spirit and his panel work was like way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. And he did it so well. Like, look at this guy. You're looking out the window. He's just chilling in the car, and he keeps looking, through the window as it all passes by. It's just so well done.
Yeah, the body language, the
Yeah.
gesture of the way he's moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. He sees a bunch of women. That's another thing. I don't know if he was like maybe a peeping Tom or something, but a lot of these window shots are like women getting dressed, and the guy's like, "Oh man, I gotta look at that." Doing a lot of, you'll see what I'm talking about as we go through this. But look, the art.
Well, what I want to know is how much of this was observed from life, or is this just from his head?
That's a good question.
Well, but then
That's a good question.
Well, at the beginning of the book, it looked to me as though
Yeah,
it was almost like on the street sketchbook journal stuff.
that's how a big part of it looks like he just
guess
went out and sat out and.
I'd like to know what the text says.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read this whole thing, or is there like info on the?
There's an intro at the beginning.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good question. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've looked at this. It's been about 3 years.
That's another
or so.
reason why we're doing this.
Yeah,
we're
we're cracking back open our old books that we haven't looked at in a while. But yeah, look at that dude, graffiti. He has a title for it. Look, a drunk guy bothering everybody on the car, singing next to everybody. It's so he just ends up passing out next to the dude. Blackout when they go under a tunnel. Really cool. The last man gets left. Yeah, he gets pushed out of the car because it's too crowded. To make this kind of quality work, and then to have the stories already etched, like, in your brain, what you're going to draw is that's what is beyond me. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
Look at that. All that traffic. So this one's like the fire hydrant. He calls it sentinels for some reason. But yeah, the fire hydrant's like the focal point of this. And what's really crazy is he goes like all over New York, like the really poverty-stricken areas. You know, it's all boarded up over here. There's rubble everywhere. But I mean, look at that, dude. The gradients, you know,
Yeah, it's really
from
cool.
the grays. It's done so well. And I wish that I could have watched him work. Just do a whole page, just see how he worked. You know.
Yeah, I'm sure it was very fast. So
Uh-huh.
some of the stuff doesn't look labored at all.
Yeah.
You know.
It's amazing. There's another one he did on here, and I it's further back, but
See-
it's like trash. You know.
I've been aware of this work and I've seen snippets of it, but
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time I've really taken it all in, and it pumps me up because, you know, as you just saw earlier, I'm working with some ink washes right now,
Yeah.
and it's such a cool way to work with ink, and seeing this makes me want to do more of it.
Yeah, it's really cool to be inspired by legends like this,
Yeah.
and it's a cool surprise because I didn't even, I didn't have any plans on getting this book. It just was a Christmas present out of nowhere. So
You have a
cool
lot of Will
surprise.
Eisner stuff, don't you?
I have about four or five books because I was like, I went really crazy over his stuff a few years back.
Oh, it's just so good.
It's excellent. I mean, look at all this. Just the mailbox, it's just all these stories based off of just things on the sidewalk.
I like his ability to capture different body styles, and everyone's face is different too.
Yeah. And the motion too. Look how fluid that is. Look, he's hugging the contour of the box. I mean, that's just, look how fluid the movement is. It's not stiff. It really is like a freeze frame, Getting into it with the postal worker. Last minute mail. And this is back in a time when everybody was mailing shit out,
Yeah.
You weren't emailing people. Everything was heavy on that postal service back then. So it's really cool to see, this is stuff from 40 something years ago, and it's
I mean, even when I was a kid, up until the time, I was a teenager, even into my early 20s, mail was how you communicated with people that you wanted to get to know outside of your town or city or your social circle. I mean, it's like ancient social media, really.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
I played with the mail so much back then.
Our mom was writing letters to our grandma, grandma, for years through the mail.
Yeah, it's just how you communicated.
Look at that. The lamp post. This is about like a lamp post. It's just so cool. He just focuses on one thing, and then there's a whole story behind it. Look at all these heavy black.
These cars are interesting to me because they don't look like any specific cars, but they look real for this world.
Yeah,
that he's portraying.
Well, they're
I really like that.
I do too, and they're cartoony looking.
They look of the time.
Yeah,
but they're not a specific model.
And look how short the cop car is. It's hilarious. Look
Right.
how little it's like boxed in. It's bunched in. Look at that. That is just so. Those shadows. His use of shadows on this
The
one.
wrinkles on the clothes.
The wrinkles on the clothes. The crevices. Done so well. I highly recommend this one if you want to check out some great work on figures and gestures and expressions.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's just a lesson in good cartooning.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's just look at that one, the river. I'm gonna kind of go forward on this one's called about the walls throughout the city. Look at that graffiti, clothes being hung. See the bricks coming through the veneer.
That one definitely looks like a sketchbook page.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
and look at that body.
fast,
That's just
yeah.
really funny.
It is kind of bow-legged almost.
Yeah, I love it though. I love it. I love the range of motion in all his bodies. Like, look at this guy hanging up a picture on his wall. Like, it's just the little
awesome.
things, you just don't really think about until you start drawing or trying to capture stuff. It's so difficult for me to capture expressions that are so convincing like this. Look at that guy. A lot of police in this.
Well, it's urban
Yeah.
for that time.
Look at that.
Is this like a cutaway of the jails? No.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
a
a-
cutaway of the wall.
Of the wall. Okay.
Yeah. All the bricks. Look at that. It's done so well.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at earlier. You pointed out those bricks in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I really doubt he's like ruling his lines of perspective and all this, but it looks so accurate.
It does. I mean, especially these bricks in here.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, look at that.
Because you can tell when someone is ruling out their lines of perspective most of the time.
Oh, yeah.
But then on this, it's like, I think he eyeballed it, but it looks right.
Yep. No, it does, man.
It looks right. I bet you if you did a horizon line and you lined up your ruler and did your guidelines, they may not be exact, but they would be very close, I bet you.
Yeah, and it's convincing enough.
You're right. That's all you need.
For the casual reader, they're not going to think about that.
Well, he's trying to get a point across.
Yeah.
And you just have enough visual information in there to do that, and that's what he's doing.
I like this one too. It's like the bulletin board. It's like, call Helen. I hate walls. Call Helen. He's like looking
funny.
at him. Shit, no. And then he calls Helen.
Oh my God, I
And
love
then-
that face.
Yeah, get off the line, creep. I love that. So yeah, it's like an abusive situation. He's telling her to get the beer. All that. It's just look, and then here's the opposite. Look at that enclosure. Look at that. Look, these people are like the high end folks in
right.
Manhattan with the apartments. They're watching buildings being built.
This makes me think, get off the line, creep, makes me think of like whenever mom would be on the phone and go into the other room and lift up the receiver.
Oh,
to, like,
and tell
mess with
people
her.
to get off. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's another thing. It's not a thing anymore.
No.
Get off the line. Look at that though. Look how. I mean, he had to study interiors for rich people.
Well, I'm sure
Look
he
at
had a
that.
reference file too.
Yeah, because look at that. That's the
I'm sure-
big rug with a cushion.
Again, I'd
throw
like to read the
pillows.
text on this detail, but I'm sure half of it or some of
Yeah.
it was done in his studio, and then some of it was
Yeah.
done on the street, and maybe
Yeah.
he worked from sketches that he
Yeah.
did. But I'm sure he had reference material.
And what's cool about this too is you see him and his wife or his girlfriend, and they have like a big view of the city, Manhattan, and the shore, the port and all that. And then it's June, and then January, 6 months later, they're building
There's a building in front of him.
in front of it. She's miserable because their view's gone.
Oh, it's funny. Storytelling again.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Look how simple this is. It's a bug. It's crazy, dude. He did a thing on an ant just climbing a wall. Its travels on the bricks, tiles. It's just all done so well. It's an inspirational piece of work. It's. This one I didn't understand, but I thought it was funny. It's like a naked chick like singing or something with her radio, and the dude climbs the wall and falls back over. I don't know. It's weird, but it's still funny. Yeah, I didn't get that one too much.
Trying to get a look. or
Jericho and the walls crumbling down. That's really cool.
I guess he was kind of religious. Wasn't
Yeah, he was Jewish,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I'm sure he like the contract with God's pretty religious.
Yeah.
I have that. The art's amazing. That's mainly
Oh,
what I get
yeah,
all this
of
stuff
course.
for. Yeah, but he was Jewish, so he was proud of his faith.
Man, this is really awesome.
Yeah, isn't it?
All that.
Yeah, look at that. Look at all the rubble and stuff and the raw individual scraps and rock. Look at that.
I'm amazed at how loose it is, but how accurate,
Yeah,
you know,
it really is.
the accuracy of it.
Yeah,
But it's just so loose also.
he really did capture the essence of a urban landscape, man. There's just all these lives going on. And then this is more of like an actual strip, you know, like panels going on. And I wanted
Like a
to
full
point this,
story.
yeah, like a full story. And I wanted to point this out because you get to see some amazing panel work in here coming up. But God, so like everything's so stylized perfectly, and the ink lines. I love it.
It's really good.
Look at that, man.
It's so cool.
Look how I mean, look what everything that's going on.
Right.
All these people yelling, and it's just constantly loud. Like the sanitation department's like spraying waste everywhere inadvertently. Look at those panels. I love that kind of stuff. Overlays.
You have to
And other
mention
people.
again how much I love his vehicles. They just look really
Yeah,
cool.
they're real. And it's like they're time accurate, but they're not actual models. But they look like they. I mean, they work though.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I study with him is his use of panels and layouts. It's just
It's really good.
look at that, man. The water on the road.
Yeah, the reflection.
Yeah, the reflections. High rent district. This is funny too. Gentrification.
Well, it's something we've seen around here.
Look at that. No, there goes the neighborhood. It's all nice and neat. They gotta get the hell out. Flip on through. Because there's just so much to cover in this book. I can't do it all in one video. This is pretty cool. This one, I'm assuming was done in sketch pads, or maybe, I don't know, but it gives the illusion like it's been ripped out of a book.
Right.
But he goes into his, renditions on the city people. And it's really cool because...
So that's supposed to be him.
Yeah, and what's really cool is you start to see some style changes here from what we've been looking at. It's more bold. It's more scratchy looking.
Well, it's not ink wash.
It's not ink wash.
Yeah.
But look at that. It's like heavy use of gray in the background with a few white spots.
Which makes me think if that was like put on after the fact.
I don't know.
The solid gray.
That's what I'm saying. I wish we could watch how he originally did all this. It would just be so cool to see.
Well, a lot of stuff like with these
Look
these
at that, dude.
tonal values were put in after publish or during for publishing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like publishing techniques.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Those stairs.
Some MC Escher
Yeah.
shit.
These people are on strike. He's trying to get the hell out of there.
I guess he was a nib guy or
Look at
brush
that
or
face.
do you know?
I don't know.
I'm sure it was like a nib.
Yeah. I haven't seen too many videos of him drawing at all, you know.
The only videos I've seen is him talking.
Yeah, that's same here. That's all I've ever really seen, are just interviews. It's done so well. It's so great to look at this stuff and learn. You can learn a lot from it, you know.
Yeah, if you're into, cartooning, illustration, drawing, just all of that in general, this is a good textbook.
Yeah, no, it really is.
I mean,
Like, look at this. Different times. Look at the different times of the day. What's going on this corner?
Right.
This old clock. Got all kinds of things going on all the way through the night. Look at that.
a couple.
Yeah.
Like some drunk guy.
Yeah,
and
messing with them. People getting beat up. Homeless dude in a box getting bothered. Look at this, though. It's like pencil in the back. That's interesting. It's like kind of like a charcoal or
crayon almost.
Yeah. Pastel or a charcoal or something. But then it's real tight right there, you know. It's so amazing what this guy did. His body of work. And it's just so innovative. Look at this. I would never in a million years think of doing a panel layout like this. Where it's just the
like
characters. Yeah, they're floating. It's all floating everywhere. But it works perfectly.
Yeah.
His mind was just in overdrive always, you know. There he goes again with that kind of pencil-y pastel thing going on. But it's really cool because you see the styles changing throughout the book too. It's like the further you go, it starts getting a little more contrast and it's bold, you know. A lot of just black and white here.
I was going to say, I like his use of silhouettes. He does that a lot.
Mm-hmm. And then looking here, this whole page is all black, you know.
Yeah.
So dynamic, man. It's never the same. That's what I love about him. It's never the same, but it feels so real, but yet it's so cartoony at the same. Like, look at this guy. He comes up to the doorknob.
It's really funny.
Yeah, borrowed time. That one's really sad. Because the dude's... Or, no, this isn't the one where the dude's dying. But, yeah, it's really cool, man. There's all kinds of cool little stories in here, but mainly what I get it for is the art more than anything. It is cool to see these stories, and it's neat that he puts these stories together just based off of objects. That's an amazing talent as well. This one, he's kind of talking about the odors in New York. Can't imagine. Hopefully they fix that too. Look at that face.
That's funny.
Yeah. These faces are amazing.
Yeah, really expressive.
Very expressive. He captures emotions so well.
I like the line work behind that one panel. Go back.
Yeah.
That top panel.
This one? Yeah, it's so cool. And it's like there's really not much ink wash at all on this one compared to the front half of the book. It's just black and white with a lot of blacks, heavy blacks thrown in there for shadows. Love that face. Another one that's good. Just all done so well. I'm going to skip ahead here. Look at this. That was a trademark of Eisner, where those splash pages
like that.
Yeah, his front pages were way ahead of the game when he was doing that, because no one was doing stuff like that, man. He was just blowing people away with these opening pages, you know.
Well, you know, and at this point in his career, you know, he's up in age. I mean, he's not, you know, a young man doing this.
Not at all.
Course, you know.
Yeah.
So that's strong work.
Yep.
To I don't know, be an old man and then be this dynamic.
Yeah.
You know.
It's amazing, dude.
Because I think you're right. That's a little ahead of the game there. I mean, that almost looks like some underground stuff.
Well, he did stuff like this in the Spirit, you know. He was doing. I mean, he would do one of my favorite Spirit opening pages is the Spirit. It's all in bricks and they look like buildings.
Yeah, he did that a few times. Yeah,
but I'm just saying, it's so he would do stuff like this all the time.
Well, I mean, the sloppy energy.
Oh yeah,
how dynamic and really.
Yeah.
You know. alternative that looks for that time.
Really does, yeah. Crazy stuff.
Because he's not really an underground cartoonist, but what I was trying to say is like that looks like some
it looks
underground shit.
Yeah, it really does. Look at that.
That's so masterful. That hair, that
hair,
face, the
carriage,
carriage, all in that enveloped in that shadow. Those solid blacks are so awesome,
so powerful, man. This guy just he is one of my biggest influences. Period.
Masterful.
Yeah, the hair again.
Yeah, really cool.
He just the dude could draw. That's all there is to
doubt.
it. Yeah, that's all that's all he did. That's all he knew. And man, he did phenomenal work. But yeah, this is Will Eisner's New York. I highly encourage you to get it if you want to, improve on your panel work and your storytelling. This is a great example to go off of. Look at this.
Definitely something to soak in.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
All black, but I mean, that's the contrast,
Yeah,
the contrast. But
it's a great book.
it really is, and it will put the link for it in the description, and you can get yours as well.
Get it.
Get it while it's good, because these things go out of print a lot. But cool, we'll check you on the next review.
Yep. If you like these reviews and like what we're doing, I'm going to do the cliche of asking you to like and subscribe and spread the videos around. Tell
and also,
your friends,
let us know what you like, what you don't like in the comments. We always answer back. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we will catch you guys next time.
Cheers.